started. Bueller? Bueller?
It's just Curtis.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Finance Committee to order. The date is the 24th of June. The time is 3 o'clock. With us today, we have Alderman Tolliver, Alderman Bade, Alderman Warman, Alderman Bug, and myself, Alderman Franco. First item is 25-0320, approval of the minutes from the Finance Committee meeting held on April 10th, 2025. Do you have a motion?
Moved.
We have a motion by Alderman Warman.
Second.
Second by Alderman Tolliver. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody from the public wishing to speak?
Yes, we do.
Would you please read the rules of public comment?
Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, all persons shall be permitted an opportunity to address public officials under the rules established and recorded by the council. Under our rules, any person may address the Finance Committee for up to 3 minutes with a maximum of 30 minutes allotted for all public comment. No person other than the timekeeper or the chair, for the purpose of maintaining order, may interrupt a person recognized for public comment during his or her comments. Members of the Finance Committee shall not engage with nor respond to a speaker during the time set aside for public comment. Staff is directed to follow up with members of the public with respect to any concerns raised during public comment.
Madam Clerk, will you call the name of the first speaker?
Curtis Wilson.
Mr. Wilson, you have 3 minutes. You may begin now.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Today I just wanted to acknowledge two great men who, this is their, I believe, their last finance meeting. And it's not even bittersweet, it's bitter because the work I've seen you do for the community, phenomenal. I'm going to start with Alderman at large, Aurora. We all knew in politics what was said about you in the election, which is true, falsehoods are just lies. To be part of a team that actually leads development. And then also, no problem. And then also to go and work a 9 to 5, to wait on people, to pick up their booger rags and snot rags, and literally in the restaurant with your bare hands to wait on people. That's the alderman at large that I knew. That's the one that I was happy to tell people about. So I apologize on behalf of all the foolishness that happened. You didn't deserve that. Your family didn't deserve that. You were a blessing and continue to be a blessing to our community. Alderman Tolliver, I want to tell you as well to take over the seat of our beloved departed Shakita Hart Burns, for whom we're in the chamber named after her. Phenomenal man. You are the superior candidate because you didn't cheat, you didn't lie, you didn't collude, you didn't deceive people to try to get someplace. You presented a fair and a reasonable position, and you acted on that. You acted with integrity. That's what I appreciate about both of you gentlemen, the integrity behind it, behind your actions. That's something that's starkly lacking. And then to know that your own parties colluded against you, I mean, that just shows that you put community over politics. You put people over power, and that puts you in the echelons of those that deserve great respect and renown. And so with that, I just want you to know, from a resident of the 5th Ward, Alderman Franco, you all are my alderman as well, and I just want you to know how much you appreciate it. Please know that your work has not been miscategorized in my mind, and those that are people that care about you. Thank you so much for all that you've done, and you are truly great stars of Aurora, so thank you.
Madam Clerk, do we have any other speakers?
No, we do not.
Okay, and along the lines of showing appreciation, we have Chief of Staff Alex Alexandria here today. This is his last finance meeting. I wanted to say thank you to him for all the help he's given the Finance Committee over the years. I wanted to do that early on while there's still people here. So, Mr. Alexandria, I know you're sitting over there. Thank you so much for your service and your help in the Finance Committee over the years.
I was going to sign up for 3 minutes, but I'll save that.
Last time you talked for 3 minutes, it might have been at birth, so. But we love you. All right, with that, we'll go on to the meat of the agenda. First one is 25-0281, a resolution authorizing Director of Purchasing to purchase technology services for Fire Station 9 from multiple vendors for a total not to exceed $365,498.
Good afternoon, Chairman Franco, members of the committee, Jeff Anderson, Deputy CIO. What you have before us, there's actually 3 in a row we're going to talk about here. And I know we've had lots of discussions about fire departments here in the last few committee meetings and committee of the whole. City staff's been in the process of finalizing the budget for all 3 of these buildings, which included design and construction costs. And we've had ongoing quotes.
We're gonna do all 3 together. Can we?
I'll read them all. Yeah, sure, I'll read the next 2, and then it'll be
Sure.
easier. Thanks.
Thanks, Pat.
All right, so the next one is 25-0282, a resolution authorizing director of purchasing to purchase technology services for Fire Station 13 from multiple vendors for a total not to exceed $237,874. And 25-0283, a resolution authorizing director of purchasing to purchase technology services for Fire Station 4 from multiple vendors for a total not to exceed $1,704,049.43.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Patrick. City staff's been in the process of finalizing the budget for all 3 of these buildings, which has included design and construction costs. And we've been obtaining quotes for these specific technology costs. As you can imagine, once floor plans are finalized, we can start to say, where do we need access points, where do we need door access controls, those kinds of things. So that's what we have here. The intent is all of these will reach COW at the same time with the other fire department items. So the first 2, 281 and 282 for fire stations 9 and 13, these in my mind are pretty straightforward. This includes fiber connectivity to the buildings themselves, network connectivity inside the buildings, CCTV devices, surveilling the outside of the buildings, providing video feeds to the outside of the buildings, and door access controls for both internal and external doors. We complete these steps for all city properties, fire stations, golf courses, zoos, et cetera. You've seen me over the years come up and talk about these specific things. And when we do these, we have meetings with the affected departments, so in this case, fire, and IT representatives are there, as well as representatives of APD to help with the security and video aspect. Thank you, Rich. Sign says don't touch, but I'll break the rules. Okay. So that's 281 and 282 for fire stations 9 and 13. Maybe we can stop there and take questions about those. I think those are the easiest of the 3.
Questions or comments about the first 2? Alderman Bug.
Yeah, thank you. Is Mr. Burchell here? No?
Saw him earlier in here.
Okay. Anyway, so do we have representatives from NTI or Scientel here?
We do not for this
No,
meeting, we do
okay.
not.
All right. So just a general question then.
Yeah.
In the time frame, in Corrigan Clark's time frame, when will they get going? When will NTI, as far as in the build outs, what is their time frame of doing their work versus Corrigan Clark?
So I can't speak to a time frame. I can talk in generalities for you,
Okay.
right? Which is, like when we did the Public Works building, we got the fiber to the termination point outside the building before any of the concrete or asphalt or anything else was poured. So we're in there when it's easier to do that work. So I can't speak to that timeline, but that's when the NTI work will be completed. For the other access points, those things will be once, most of the internal construction is done. You can look around at cameras and access points we have in here, and you kind of figure out when those things went in, which is about the time the ceiling went in for the building.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Go ahead, Mr. Minnick.
Chris Minnick, Chief Financial Officer. Just as a point of clarification, we're specifically discussing right now stations 9 and 13. Corrigan Clark was mentioned a minute ago. They are not actually the architect for 9 and 13. FGM is serving
Okay.
as the architect for 9 and 13. Just for clarification.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, so for 9 and 13, if they're going to do this fiber first, before even, quote unquote, moving dirt, concrete, all that stuff, what is the time frame for that, if you know?
For the fiber, it would, I don't have an exact time frame. I don't have the project plan in front of me. It would be, well before any of the concrete's poured out there at the location, right? You want to get all of that in before you're having to bore underneath a finished roadway or finished parking lot.
Okay.
Okay.
So sometime this summer?
Yeah. Very, very similar to what you're seeing at River Ridge Park right now. You're going to come back to you with a fiber resolution there, where they've taken it all out. We need to get all that in the ground before you're paying additional to do boring as opposed to trenching. If that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
With that, let's go on to the third one then, and then
Okay.
we'll vote on them all as soon as you're done.
Absolutely. So the third one, and this had most of the discussion, and this is the, according to Clark, architect, et cetera, that we talked about. So thanks again for the help there, Chris. So this one has the specific technology needs for Fire Station 4, which is a unique building. You know, I want to say, all of our fire department fire station buildings are very technologically advanced compared to others. This one by far will be our most technologically advanced building because it has 3 functions in there, right? It's fire administration, a fully operating Fire Station 4, and a fully operating emergency management association, or agency, right? So, you know, there've been discussions about, you know, them being all in one building and all that. I don't want to get into that today, but what that presents to us then is we need to provide areas that are secured. You know, EMA is going to have public volunteers coming. They don't need to be wandering around in a working fire station, right? Right? Fire admin has sensitive information that only those folks should have access to. So then we start to talk about specific door controls and potentially more of them, right? Different access points and those types of things. And then, excuse me, for EMA, they have specific needs for, and you'll see it in the cover memo written as, for training and also for those emergency events. So if you've been in our facility now, it's really built for, I'll say the 80s or 90s, when people didn't have laptops and you came in and there was a computer you logged into there and you could display on the screen right next to you, right? Not very conducive to a large-scale discussion about what's happening in the community. So what we have now is, and that's the work coming from Burwood in here, right, is that we're going to build this room so that it's built for folks who are going to come with their city-issued laptop, or folks from the outside come in from outside agencies. They can come in and connect, like they're in a Teams meeting, a Microsoft Teams meeting, and display on whatever screen they choose to within the room. Much more conducive to those open discussions, interactions you need to have in time of emergency. So that's the cost there. There are some other costs. I don't want to say they're small, but you know, we're moving the AM emergency radio station from Sophisburg Park, which is in the park, but it's really in the side yard of a resident if you look at the map. That'll be moved here as well. The cost is in there for that. We also have a small cost for video AV devices that will allow them to connect to the room and pick up any of the video signals we have throughout the city, which are in the KIC center, et cetera, right? So that's the technology we're putting in here. I can stop there and take some questions.
Questions or comments about this so far? You can continue there, Jeff, or unless you have nothing else.
Well, you know, I thought there'd be a lot more questions about Station 4. I think the costs are here, and
Right.
and they're, you know, they're, I think we try to spell out exactly what they're going to be used for.
Right.
I think there's a valid need for them, right?
So I have a question, and it's a generic question, compelled to ask it. You know, with technology changing so fast, do we feel that we're doing everything to look in the future so we can adapt quickly to whatever is down the road? You know how you build something today, and
Right.
5 years from now, I wish we
Right.
would have thought about this because technology, I mean, we look at that, I'm assuming we do look at that, but is there anything in this that would lead us a certain direction or not
So-
because of that?
We have, and that's a really a good question. And so if you, I'll take the Cinemassive for an example, right? The KIC Center opened 4 years ago? I'm trying to remember, right? And what we did there on purpose was connect that video sourcing component there within the data center at APD. So we could get those video signals out to whatever remote buildings we needed to, whoever needed them. So that's the Cinemassive component in here, is that we're not building that again in the new Fire Station 4. Right. We're taking the feeds that were all centralized at APD, right? That's one example. The other example is, again, if you go to the EOC now, you're gonna see towers mounted underneath the desk. People come in and log into those. This is much more set up. There'll be more dollars in the display technology, but we're expecting people to come with their handheld devices and connect to those. And that could be a telephone, a cell phone, could be an iPad, could be whatever, if you can connect to a remote meeting like we all learned during COVID and everything.
Right.
That's the intent here.
Okay.
Right? So, there'll always be something else that'll come out.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
But we are as flexible, I think, as we can be now with the technology that's available.
Okay. And that's that's what I thought,
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
like to ask it just to make sure that we're trying to forecast the future. Can't always do it,
Right.
accurately, but,
Right.
okay.
And that goes to some of the, the wireless costs you see in here as well.
Right.
That weren't in the existing space.
Right.
Right.
Okay, all right. Any other questions from the committee? Well, hearing none, we'll go through them one at a time. I'll just read the numbers since I already read the content of them. 25-0281, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Alderman Tolliver, second by Alderman Warman. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Next is 25-0282.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Alderman
Second.
Tolliver, second by Alderman Warman. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Next one is 25-0283. Motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Alderman Tolliver, second by Alderman Warman. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that passes 5-0 also. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate members of the committee as well. Thank you.
Next item is 25-0302, a resolution authorizing the purchase and installation of a Movement vehicle exhaust system at Fire Station Number 7, the amount of $80,288 to Hastings Air Energy.
Good afternoon. My name is Matt Anslow. I'm Assistant Fire Chief. I'm here today to request the Director of Purchasing be authorized to purchase the Plymouth system for the said mentioned amount. Our Station 7 was originally built with a air vac system. This system consists of 5 exhaust fans that pull air out of the bay floor and basically a large HEPA filter that hangs from the ceiling. What we have found is this system is not functioning as was originally designed and installed. Maintenance on this system requires our members to don a Tyvek suit, full N95 and glasses, climb up the A-frame ladder, which I think it's picture 1. You might be able to see in the background, all the way in at the back of that station. And change out filters. It's about twice a year they have to get up there and do that, which isn't exactly the safest. Vehicles exhaust can frequently be smelled in the kitchen, along with soot being built up on the walls and also on the sound dampening panels, which cannot be cleaned. The cinder block walls we can wash down with a hose. The sound dampening panels we cannot wash because they're fabric. All the other fire stations within the city use a direct capture system, which is what the Plymouth vent is, that takes the exhaust straight from the tailpipe, pulls it out, and blows it outside the station. No need to try to filter it or anything of that nature. This type of system offers the best protection for our employees and our visitors. Our firefighters have a high risk for cancer as it is, higher than the general public, and installation will help lower that risk for the men and women working at Station 7. Risk funds have been approved for this project and are available. I ask that this resolution get approved through this committee and moves on to Cal. Any questions?
Questions or comments? Alderwoman Bade.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a quick question. What is the lifespan of this?
With proper maintenance, we have not had any issues with the existing Plymouth vent system. We've had them for, I want to say, about 6 or 7 years. We have not had any issues. There's always maintenance that goes into any system, but the lifespan should be 30, 40 years.
Oh,
Is what
okay.
the company's telling us.
And it comes with warranty?
Correct.
Okay. Yep, thank you. Motion to approve.
Thank you. I didn't really hear your question. I hope I don't repeat it because I was fixing my iPad here. For the old system, because it's not doing what it was intended to do, is there any recourse for us for that?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
That station is fairly old, and that should be out of warranty.
Okay.
It is, per se, cleaning. There is an additional filter that was not purchased on that rig.
Mm-hmm.
When we run reserve rigs out of there, so we can't really put these filters on each vehicle in our fleet.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. It's
Okay.
not financially responsible.
Right.
So.
Okay. All right, any other questions? We have a motion by Alderwoman Bade,
Second.
second by Alderman Tolliver. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? It passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is 25-0345, a resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the Fox Valley Park District concerning the staging of Independence Day fireworks on Park District property in 2025 and 2026.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, council members. This is our regular agreement with the Fox Valley Park District. This is a 2-year agreement. We've been doing this for several years now. They are a fantastic community partner. We would not be able to execute the fireworks event without this great partnership and certainly this MOU.
Questions or comments? Hearing none. Do we have a
Yeah.
motion? Oh, I'm sorry, Alderman Bug. Go ahead.
For 2025, go ahead and explain to us the extent of the fireworks
Sure.
with River Edge being closed.
Sure. So we have been putting our heads together, so myself and Derek Winston at the, who's managing the train station property, one of the many things that he manages for us, and our special event sergeant, Marco Gomez. Our plan is to utilize McCullough Park / Prisco Center, and also shut down the Aurora Transportation Center parking lot on Broadway. We will be mixing up our shuttles, and we'll be encouraging residents to take shuttles. We're getting a bit more creative this year with our shuttles and the shuttle stops, and really trying to make it as accessible as possible for everybody, and to really make this a great evening.
Will we be using Wilder Park? Will that be a viewpoint, or is
We
it
are
blocked by
not,
trees?
You're correct. So
Yeah.
you're very true. So my team and I actually cover Wilder from the promenade west with signage that says fireworks not viewable from this location.
Okay.
The river curves a bit, that in addition to the tall trees. And every year we get a couple of families that, set up shop there, and we have to run out and tell them you're in for a sad night if you don't relocate. So yes. Yeah, we'll have food trucks and whatnot at each location, so food trucks won't be at Wilder Promenade this year. So we'll have a handful of food trucks at the ATC parking lot, along with DJ, live entertainment, and same thing over at McCullough Park. So it really will be one great night.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
We have a motion by Alderman Tolliver, second by, Alderman Warman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that passes 5-0. Next item is 25-0346, a resolution authorizing the execution of a 3-year contract with Pyrotechnico Fireworks for Independence Day fireworks displays at a total annual amount not to exceed $46,000.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So this is our 3-year agreement with Pyrotechnico, formerly Melrose Pyrotechnics. We've been working with Melrose, really Pyrotechnico now, for probably like 17 years, to my knowledge. They are absolutely fantastic. They are, in my opinion, and in my my predecessor's opinion, they are the best in the business. And we would not want to change that right now. So we've got our agreement with them. We're very excited. They provide a top-tier show, and we hope to continue that.
I got a question. So in the resolution, it says not to exceed $46,000. Is it $46,000?
It is $46,000
Okay,
for the next 3 years,
Okay.
yes.
Then, I couldn't find it here. What was the price we paid for the last contract per year? Do you know what that was? About
43.
43. So it went up
43. It went up a little bit, inflation.
Well, sure, right.
But certainly nothing
Right.
extraordinary.
Right, it's within the ballpark.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Alderwoman Bade.
Thank you, Chairman. So 46,000 is when we go for 3 years contract?
Yes, ma'am. We're locked in 46 grand for 3 years. So each year it's 46,000.
If we did annually, would they give us same rate?
I don't know. That would be something that we can certainly look into it. I don't know. I think they prefer to get a commitment, of 3 years.
Okay.
I hate to say this, it's what we've always done. Certainly my personal opinion of on year 10 here, we have never had an issue. They are here bright and early on July 2nd. They start setting up. It's a really cool thing. I can look into that. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments? Alderman Warman. Okay, a motion approved by Alderman Warman, second by Alderwoman Bay. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you very much.
Opposed? Passes 5-0, thanks. 25-0348, a resolution authorizing the execution of a labor agreement between the City of Aurora and Aurora Supervisors Association of the Aurora Police Department from January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2028.
Good afternoon, Alicia Lewis, Chief Human Resources Officer. And I am here to request authorization to go into another agreement with the Aurora Supervisors Association. The Aurora Supervisors Association is the group that covers our police management, covers commanders, our sergeants and our lieutenants. We do actually have representation for each of our ranks here, as well as police management that was on the at the bargaining table. And so historically, Apple, which is our police contract, both of them are on the same schedule, and so they both expire at the same time. Traditionally, we negotiate with Apple, which council just approved on Tuesday, and so now we are bringing forward the ASA contract. What you'll see here is probably very familiar. It mirrors the changes that we negotiated with Apple, so you'll see that this is a 4-year agreement. First 3 years is a 4% increase, and then the last year is a 3.5% increase. A highlight of this agreement is that this group also has agreed to go to 20% for employee contribution. In the last year, we have been working diligently over the years to get everybody to 20%. We now have, I believe, one more group that we'd like to get to 20%. So, we're almost to the finish line. You'll also see a 1% differential for lieutenants. Sergeants, lieutenants to the sergeants. Other than that, the language change that you'll see in the agreement, again, is similar to language change that we have in Apple so that it mirrors that contract.
Questions or comments? I have a comment. So I read in here that you started negotiations this month and you finished them this month. That seems extraordinary. Because I remember.
We are extraordinary.
I mean, it is well, yes.
They are extraordinary.
Because, typically we said, yeah, these negotiations have been going on for years, some of them. So this is pretty good.
Well, actually, a lot of this has to do with just timing. So, the group is not as big with ASA. There's
Right.
59 guys, and again, a lot of that language mirrors Apple. So it's just that we may not get to the table as quickly once we're done with Apple. We also have a lot of other groups that expire at the same time. We're going to be seeing some other agreements coming through. So, in this case, we're moving. There's changes
Right.
also in the police department. So we wanted the contracts to kind of be up to date with the change in management and whatnot. So it is not something typical. But don't jinx it, because
Well, no.
going forward.
We just set the bar at a new level. You gotta
I know,
raise the
right?
level next time. But kudos everybody for that, because that seems pretty good to me. So
Yeah.
good.
Thank
Anything
you.
else, Alderwoman Bay?
So the contract ended December 31st?
Correct.
2024?
Yeah, it expired.
And the new one will start on January, so we are going to backdate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and again, traditionally, if we go past the expiration date, we do agree to a retro.
And why don't we start the negotiation when we know the contract is going to end, like November, December?
Yeah, well, we actually did
Oh, you
start
did.
Apple before the expiration date, and that's why, but because they both expire at the same time, and traditionally, we don't close the contract with ASA until after Apple is done. And here's why, because with ASA, the higher ranks, their wages and their pay is incumbent upon a differential. So whatever happens with Apple, then when we add the cost of living, it based on the differential, it impacts that pay. And so it makes sense to do Apple before we do ASA.
Thank you.
Alderman Bug.
Thank you. In the contract on the longevity pay, I know we got comparables on this, other towns. Can you elaborate on those comparables and then send it to our chief of staff for the community members?
Can you repeat that? You want me to elaborate?
Well, send the comparables to
Oh,
our chief of staff, yeah. But
Okay.
if you could elaborate on them now.
Well, as far as the
Longevity pay.
the longevity pay, the longevity pay is based on, the salary based on the amount of time that the employee is in the position. Is that what you're looking at? Are you looking at why we agreed to an increase?
Yeah, the numbers, and we went in, I got comparables from other municipalities. So I wanted to see what those numbers were from the other municipalities.
Well, we don't have, we did send a memo to you, and I think we distributed to the rest of the group in terms of the comps. We really look at the comps that are closest to us, like Naperville and Evanston. So, but there are some, differences there because of they agree to a significant higher amount because of the staffing. We've done really good with keeping our staffing in line. But we do see across the board that organizations are increasing the longevity. And so in order for us to stay relevant and viable and stay in the market, we're also responding to that same demand.
Okay. Yeah, if you forwarded that memo, I did not see it, and that's just because I've been immensely busy, nothing on anyone else.
I don't remember seeing it either.
And you did not receive any information regarding the comps, because I know you had requested.
Oh, I don't know, I've been very busy, so I don't,
Okay.
it could have come over and I didn't see it. I don't
Okay.
want to say you didn't send it.
Okay,
Um,
very good.
But
And then
the chair
Commander
said-
Well, I don't
he-
think I saw it either. You haven't seen it?
Yeah, it would have gone to everybody.
Yeah,
so
we may not have got it.
Okay, so
But
I
that's o-
apologize, because
no,
there
that's
was
okay.
an
Just send
inquiry
it- yeah.
regarding the
Sure.
comps that we
Right.
did. John Murphy, our attorney, did put something together
Yeah.
to distribute to the
Okay,
council,
that's
so I
fine.
apologize.
Hi, Steve Stemman, Commander, Aurora Police. I can speak to it a little bit.
Sure.
I could find it. It'd take me a second, or I can just shoot from the hip, whatever you guys prefer. I know John Murphy did prepare it, so we'll make sure to
Right.
get it to you before
Well, I think-
COW.
Right, I think the fact if you're going to forward us at some point in time, you don't have to go into a whole lot of detail now.
Yeah,
We'll
no,
see
and
it.
that's what I
Yeah, sure.
think, to answer
Right.
Alderman Bug's
Yeah.
question, just for instance, on comparables. For one, it speaks towards longevity, right? We're trying to bring up our starting wage to bring people in the door and bump up our longevity to keep people here once we've got them. But a couple of quick comparables, Rockford, I believe, they go to a 10% longevity bump at 25 years. And then I think it is Evanston who goes to 5.5% after 20 years. So they reach that top tier threshold that we're asking for 5 years before our officers. Don't quote me on it being Evanston, but it is one of our direct comparables.
Okay.
So that one that goes to 10%, that's over and above the regular.
Rockford, correct. And it's
So they get-
it's not comparing apples to apples
Sure.
because everybody has different benefits, but Rockford, yes, they above their base pay go to a 10% bump at 25 years as opposed to the 5.5 that we're looking at.
Okay, we'll just look for that memo this week.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second. Motion by Alderman Tolliver, second by Alderman Warman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is 25-0349, a resolution authorizing the sale of the city-owned 7 parcels totaling 18 acres on Bilter Road east of Farnsworth Avenue.
Good afternoon, Chairman Franco, committee members. My name is Trevor Dick, Assistant Director in the Mayor's Office of Economic Development. Great to be here this afternoon with a very exciting project. The purpose of this presentation is to seek your approval of a resolution authorizing the sale of the city-owned 7-acre parcels totaling 18 acres on the north side of Bilter Road, east of Farnsworth Avenue, to the successful bidder, Lennar. I'm also joined with Tim Kellogg here. Many of you have probably seen him before at other meetings. He'll be here to answer any questions that you have at the end. The terms of the sale that we're proposing is to sell the properties to Lennar, who will purchase the properties for $6,042,000 and construct a townhome residential development, as well as building or filling in the current gap in the Ginger Woods Parkway. And if, oh, geez, here it is right here. Apologize. That. Sorry. So Canadian for me to say sorry. Okay, thank you.
It's not one of those remotes we bought from Canada, is it?
No. When I was growing up in Canada, I was the remote for my family. Yeah. Those are the good old days, right? Thank you very much. So on this slide here, you can see another aerial showing the 7 parcels, and you can see the gap in the Ginger Woods Parkway. Next slide, please. So a little bit of the background. In July of 2024, if you recall, we worked with Aurora, who helped purchase the properties. All in with attorney fees and everything was about $5.8 million. And at that time, the city council purchased the properties to control our destiny. If you remember, we were getting a lot of interest from industrial businesses, storage, logistics, warehousing, and we wanted to purchase these properties to control our own destiny. As part of that agreement, with discussion with city council, we went for a request for qualifications to seek out the highest and best use for residential development and a developer for these properties. So the next slide. So moving forward, the beginning of this year in January of 2025, we released a request for qualifications. And based upon the submittals and interviews, steering committee chose Lennar as the highest, selected them as the highest and preferred purchaser and developer. Lennar is proposing to purchase the property, as I mentioned, for $6,042,000, and they are not requesting any city incentives. The sale will be put back on the tax rolls, and the future residential development will also provide new taxes. Currently, $42,000 is paid in total to taxes. That's all districts. That is to increase to $1.8 million a year in property taxes. Next slide. I'll just show a little bit of some of Lennar's examples. I didn't include their full proposal, but I thought I'd put in some pretty pictures and just talk about them as a builder. This is a photo here right away of Liberty Meadows. And if you go to the next slide, I can talk about that a little bit later. But the company is the second largest builder in Chicago. Over 1,700 homes were constructed by Lennar in 2024. On the bottom of the screen, you can see the project team. These are the 3 people that were part of the interview and gave us the presentation. And they've been building homes since 1954, a huge national company. Next slide. Probably very difficult for you to see, especially if you're sitting in the audience, but this is a list of just some of their current townhome communities throughout the Illinois area, as well as communities that are coming soon. You'll see at the bottom, they reference the Abbey Meadows development in Aurora. As you know, this is still in the entitlement process. They are through preliminary and now going through the final stages, and that'll be continuing through the entitlement process. Next slide. A recently completed Lennar townhome community, as I mentioned earlier, was Liberty Meadows. That was an extremely successful development, and you can see here that there was an average sale price of $414,000. And if you go to the next slide, I've got some photos here. This is, if you recall, in the east end of the community near Legacy Fields, 91 units and 18 buildings. All of the units are sold. It was at one time the fastest selling Lennar townhome product in the region, which includes Illinois, Wisconsin, and Indiana. Extremely successful. And if you go to the next slide, Prairie Meadows is also under construction by Lennar. This is the former West Aurora School District property where they're constructing 74 single-family ranch homes. If you've driven by there lately, the model home is under construction. I don't believe it's open yet, but those are ranch homes, and they've already started to sell some units already, which is fantastic. And then the last example I wanted to show is Abbey Meadows. As I mentioned, this is the entitlement process, and you can see this is very, very high quality development as well. 220 townhomes are proposed to be constructed there. And then the last slide is their proposed Bilter Road development. These are some of the highlights. They're proposing 159 urban-style townhomes to construct the long-planned connection of Ginger Woods Parkway. That connection will also be a great access point for the newly constructed fire station, and it'll be an important connection through that whole area. They're also proposing the urban townhome models that they've constructed at Liberty Meadows and are proposing at Abbey Meadows. They are proposing that they will all be 3-bedroom units, 2-car garages with a projected sale price of $424,000. They're also, I did not put it on the slide, they're also proposing a private park with a potential playground for the neighborhood. And that completes my presentation. As I mentioned, if there's any questions, either myself or Tim are happy to answer them.
Questions or comments from the committee? Alderman Bay, go ahead.
So the entrance will be from Gingerwood Parkway?
The, actually, if we could go back to maybe the aerial, which I believe is like slide 3. This would be a great way to describe it, Alderwoman. One more forward. There, yep. So you can see, well, actually, how am I going to do this? I will say this. It's going to line up with the entrance of Chicago Premium Boulevard at the south, if you can see that at Bilter.
Okay.
That'll be, I would say, the main access point. That is the concept plan right now. It would go straight, a road would go straight and tee into the Ginger Woods Parkway that'll go east to west. Does that answer your question, Alderwoman?
Okay. And Bilter, they will be accessing Bilter too?
Yes.
And Bilter will be expanded by the time?
Correct.
Okay.
That's one of the benefits of also us purchasing the property when we did widen, or when we're widening the
Widen,
road.
yeah.
We've already given ourselves the easements
Okay.
necessary to put in the widened road.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Alderman Bowe, do you have a question?
Yeah, just the latter part of your presentation, you mentioned that they're going to have a private park. Area-wise, this is in Fox Valley Park District, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Um, Go ahead, Alderman, sorry.
Yeah, and Batavia Schools?
Batavia School District, correct.
It is Fox Valley Park District, so.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you, Alderman.
That's what I thought. Okay.
That was
I have a
question.
few questions about
Go ahead,
this.
Alderman Warman.
I just want to clarify, so there's going to be an entrance off Bilter, you saying that's where they can get into the outlet mall right now? Is where that entrance is going to be into the townhome development, there's where that stoplight is?
Exactly right,
Yeah.
right.
The line is across intersection.
Okay, so it'll be right there, and then it'll, like you said, T, they'll bring Ginger Woods Parkway all the way around, and then it'll T right into there. Are they going to connect to Beverly at all?
I don't, where's Beverly?
Beverly's the next one, if you're going west, the next, where, almost directly across from the fire station itself, that, there's that Sunbelt, things like that. I think Beverly kind of winds around in the back there, so.
Yeah, I think, is Beverly the one that also goes north to south? I can see it just off the corner of the aerial. Is that Beverly there?
Yeah,
Butterfield? Yeah, so
Yeah.
it'll connect to that element. And the reason I didn't include their concept plan is it's so conceptual right now.
Sure.
They're gonna be coming to city council for all the entitlements and approvals. So I think things can change, but that's the current concept, right, Tim, that you're thinking of right now for connectivity.
and then you said the average sales price was 424 for all 3 units, or
Yes.
styles, I guess you want to call it?
Yes, sir.
And have they gotten as far as impact on the schools district itself?
Yeah, so the great things, and I confirmed this with Tim just before I came up here, they're not asking for any incentives, and they're also prepared to pay the school and Park District lane cash fee, which is fantastic. So they'll be paying those, and then, of course, the property taxes that'll go to the school and the Park District.
Thank you.
Yep.
So I'd like to recap a little bit, because I always look at the financial part. We made $151,000 on the net sales. We bought it for 58.9, and we sold it for a little over 6 million. What other, and then we're gonna get the property taxes.
Yep.
What other financial benefits, if any, are we kind of getting out of this? Because I think this is a good thing. When we buy land, we control it, we get what we want there, and then we make a profit on what we sell, all good. But is there more that we're kind of getting out of this because we had done that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so we're happy that we're getting obviously more than all in. So it's about, as you mentioned, the $6 million, 42,000 number. We're going to be getting the increased property taxes from about 42,000, I believe, to over $1 million. So we've got that long-term benefit that's going to be coming in. They're going to be constructing Ginger Woods Road, which is a cost savings to the city, so we don't have to build it.
So the developer be doing that? Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, those are the kind of things I'm talking about, like
Yep.
all these extra benefits that we're not having to assume the finances for.
Correct. And I think, especially over the last several years, we've been really focused on adding different types of housing products, and we'll have more residents.
Sure.
Living in the city was also a benefit, supports the existing or nearby residential, sorry, I heard a door, the shopping area, of course, and the future restaurants.
Right.
And the other part, too, is the controlling our destiny.
Sure.
But Chris, if you, there's.
Chris Minnick, Chief Financial Officer again. I would also point out, Mr. Chairman, that in addition to the property taxes and some of the other economic benefits that the increased population would provide as part of this development, we would also receive additional tax dollars from the state of Illinois related to the per capita, the income tax, the local governmental distributive fund for any individuals who would move into the development. So that runs, if you include the motor fuel tax portion as well, I believe the last dollar amount was somewhere between $250 and $260 per person. So that would help as well.
Right. I always thought it was good when we buy low, sell high type of thing, but these extra things are kind of nice to know too. When you talk to people about what a development brings in, there's all this collateral benefits in addition to that, so it's always kind of nice to be reminded of that. So as we go into the public and speak, we can talk about that.
Great point.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Alderwoman Bade.
So will there be exit and entrance on Bilter too?
Yes, and I'm trying to figure out how to point this out to you, Alderwoman.
So
So.
the bottom line, the bottom street is Bilter. I can
How
see.
do I point this out?
I
Let's
can see the
Why,
pointer.
there's a pointer
It's
there
moving.
now.
There's a pointer?
The pointer is moving.
It's,
Somebody.
somebody's got it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's somebody in the crowd. Like a-
It keeps moving back and forth. I don't know if
Yes,
it's,
that is Bilter.
So if who's ever controlling the cursor, if you could go a little bit to the right,
And
right
up.
there, yes. So that's an existing signal. That's the Premium Outlet Boulevard that goes into the outlet mall to the
Okay.
south. The main connection then into this neighborhood would be at that signal to the north.
And Gingerwood Parkway. Two
Exactly.
entrances,
So the
okay.
current concept is that would probably meander a little bit, so we kind of discourage cut-through traffic, meander, go up straight to the north, and then if the cursor could keep going up, and then if a little bit more, right there, Alderwoman, to the left and right, I imagine it would be like a T intersection. So
Okay.
you go that way, that way. I feel like a flight attendant.
No, just
an old-timer
asking
traffic
because of-
controller.
If we have, for emergency, we have multiple exits.
Yes, yep, that's exactly right, yep, exactly.
Okay.
sure. Alderwoman Moore. I'm
So where
sorry.
that Ginger Woods Parkway comes around that T, and then where it hits to the left, what road is that? Because I think that one's the one that goes into Beverly, I believe.
Yeah, that
Okay.
goes into
Correct, I believe it's
Yeah.
Ginger Woods Parkway.
Emily Lane.
Oh, is it called Ginger Woods Parkway on that end too, so?
Yeah. Right now, it's obviously just
Oh,
a
yeah,
stop.
Gingerwood.
Yeah.
Parkway.
So,
Okay.
so there'll be, okay. And then the road going through the subdivision itself is like just, like what kind of road is it gonna be? Is it gonna be like something you see in the residential neighborhood itself? It's not gonna be like a, oh my, it's dead, so, oh, it's back on. Is it gonna be, just like a normal
local
resident, yeah,
road?
so it's, what I'm worried about is I don't want it to be a cut through off 56 or anything like that, so,
Of course.
so like a normal residential road, I guess, if you wanna call it that, so,
For Ginger Woods?
yeah.
Would be a local road?
Talking with staff, it would be a little bit wider. It's not a collector, it's not local. It would continue on what the width of the road, Ginger Woods, is on both sides, so there wouldn't be any awkwardness of tapering down and back up. So it's a continuation of what the vision was.
Chairman?
Thank you.
It's what the traffic engineer calls a minor collector.
Any other questions or comments? All right, hearing none, I'm sorry.
Just-
Alderwoman Bay, go ahead.
So the Ginger Woods Parkway will be connected on
Yes,
both
ma'am.
sides?
That's the
And-
current concept, yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay,
Yes.
makes sense now.
And I
Thank
think
you.
the stop, especially to your concerns about cut-through traffic, I think it can be designed with some curves on the road. The stop sign, I think, at the T intersection will be helpful. Anything we can do to discourage cut-through and slow down any type of traffic. And the cool thing is, well, cool, probably not a good planning term, but to the north is it's a church, and then it's Butterfield Road, so not a lot of activity on that street right now.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Alderwoman Bay,
Second.
second by Alderman Tolliver. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is 25-0353, a resolution authorizing new commercial lease agreements with Jolene Ryan, doing business as Jumping Java Coffee for commercial space at the Aurora Transportation Center and Route 59 train stations.
Good afternoon, Assistant Corporation Counsel Patrick Collins. This is just a lease amendment. She's been out there for almost 8 years now at this point. It's for 3 years. There's a slight increase in the rent. She's out at the Broadway ATC and then also on Route 59
A $10 increase.
on both parcels.
Yeah, right. I was looking at that, I was like, that is a slight increase, okay, 2%. Believe me, I was thinking about that, okay. Yeah. Any questions or comments on this?
Motion to approve.
Yeah.
Alderman Bug, go ahead.
I'm going to jump in your
Sure.
mind. Yeah, 3 years ago, we had this discussion about trying to bring some of these contracts up to current times, a normal real estate contract. So even the late fee for her, it's $6, which would not come close to covering a stamp and a little bit of administrative time if they had to send out a letter because the person was late. So we are not landlords. We're not, that's not what we do. We are a government municipality, but at the same time, our contracts need to be, in the realm of a regular real estate contract. So that $6 late fee really just jumped out at me, that it's really nothing.
But
It's
well,
supposed to deter
it's my
people
understanding
from being late.
It's my understanding from revenue and collections, she hasn't been late. She pays on time all the time.
Okay.
This was the term that was in her last 2 agreements. So there was only the amendment to her current lease to just add on the additional time and months and the slight increase in payment. I also spoke with I spoke with Burchell and Derek Winston about her tenancy and everything else. They've had no issues, no problems with her, so.
Yeah, I understand she's a great tenant. I'm just talking about, trying to move our contracts to a normal real estate contract. Normal real estate contract doesn't have a $6 late fee for
No.
a late payment. So,
Well, but there's also a 130% increase if she becomes a holdover tenant. So, I mean, there are varying terms throughout there on all of it, and so I wasn't gonna, since she hadn't had a late issue problem, I just went with what.
I
revenue
understand.
collections.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
Motion to.
We have a motion by
Second.
Alderwoman Bay, second by Alderman Warman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I'm sorry, did you want Alderman Bay? Okay, passes 4-0, 1 abstention? Okay. Abstain, yeah. Next item is 25-0354, a resolution authorizing execution of a labor agreement between the City of Aurora and Local 1514, Council 31, American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFL-CIO, from January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2028.
Alicia Lewis, again, Chief Human Resources Officer. This contract is for AFSCME 1514, which is our group of maintenance workers. Their contract did expire at the end of 2024. Representation is here. The president of AFSCME, John Scott, is here to represent the group. Highlights here, actually, this has always been a great group to work with, and they're already at the 20%. There's not a lot of language that we needed to change. So what you'll see is some minor changes in language and updating and adding some positions and whatnot. And to answer a question before it gets asked, again, oftentimes it takes a little bit longer, but the union did ask that we move forward given what's going on in the in the current climate and the uncertainty going forward. And the city did not have, in the language that we did propose, the union was susceptible to that. And so you'll see that other than the wages for the next 4 years, there's some slight changes in the CBA, and both parties were satisfied with what we were able to come to an agreement with.
Questions or comments from the committee? Alderman Buck.
Yeah, just from our negotiating standpoint, so in some of these contracts we've just reviewed, we were at 4% for the next three, 25, 26, 27, and then 2028, 3.5. Was that part of our negotiation from our side to them? And how did that discussion go for 2028?
So they start high, and we start low.
I know how that works.
So they certainly started at above a 4%, and then we started in the 3s, and then we tried to meet somewhere in the middle. And again, we do use internal comparison also. So when we're looking at our non-exempt and executive, we, with council's approval, had just approved IEBW with 4%. Across the board. In fact, they were a little bit higher in that last year. We felt that it was a fair agreement.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Alderman Tolliver.
Second.
Second by Alderman Warman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't believe we have anything else to come before the Finance Committee today. We have
Chairman, I would also like to say
Alderman
thank
McLeod.
you to our two aldermen.
Thank you.
This is your last finance meeting for now. So Alderman Ron Warman and Brendan Tolliver, thank you for your service for the community.
Thank you, I
We
appreciate it.
truly
Thanks.
appreciate it.
And with
Motion to
that,
adjourn.
do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion by Alderman Bates, second by Alderman Warman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we are adjourned at 3:58. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.